Hello, everybody. Jason, I'm New Age Revolution Cave. Sorry about the same view every video. The rest of the room is not ready for... It's not camera ready. It's not screen ready yet. I might have broccoli in my teeth. But as we finish the He-Man Ghostbusters area, as we move the G.I. Joes, we'll have different backdrops per episode. It's a beautiful Sunday here. Not a good weekend with the sicknesses in the house. I did not do well last night. I went to bed at about 9. Everybody has to find a place to sleep in this house. We're all on our own for places to sleep. The kids were up until 1. I ended up in Liam's room, which is awful. Awful. His bed is awful. Full of stuffed animals and I don't know what else he does in that bed. But it wasn't comfortable. They came up at 1 in the morning. I went back down on the couch because I was sick and I was fevery and I just wasn't a good night last night. I woke up 95% healed this morning and Liam is sick. So there we go. Their mother's probably going to get it the next day. Finley is just a beast. He doesn't get sick. He's perfectly fine. So we're just watching the NFL playoffs and hoping that a couple specific teams win so that I make $100. All right. Memories, folks. Memories of solo play is what we're talking about today. Memories of solo play. Meaning as kids, we used this thing that used to exist in the 80s called imagination. That's right, imagination. Look it up. Well, you guys don't have to. Your kids have to. You don't have to. We know what imagination is. Look, your friends weren't always available. They were playing by themselves also. And you weren't going to always get a ride over to your friend's house, even if they were like 3 streets over. That may as well have been 3 states over. Your parents weren't going to take you. Which I always found bizarre. Like, whenever my kids ask to be driven over to their friends, it's like a no-brainer. I'm not going to be like, no. But I definitely got the no. We're not taking you. Maybe they can come pick you up. What? You had time by yourself, and if you were like me, you enjoyed playing solo. I definitely enjoyed my time alone because I made all the rules. That might speak to who I am today. I don't like to share things with anybody. So I started thinking about ways I played by myself. Some of the most imaginative things that I did as a kid all by myself and how much fun I had. It goes without saying that the number one thing on the list is my LJN life. I mean, it was, look, I've talked about this since the beginning of the channel, but I could sit and talk about LJN stories for days. It was every day. It was every day of childhood from 85 to 90, 91, maybe 92. Maybe more 91. Sitting down on the carpet, legs crossed. What's it called? Now it's called crisscross applesauce. Indian style, folks. Canceled. Sitting on the floor, playing with the LJNs and having such a intricate world of storylines. And I've said this before, I was a booker before I knew what a booker was, right? I had no idea about bookers in the world of wrestling, but as a 10-year-old kid, I was the best booker there was. I was having a blast. Good guys, bad guys, storylines, obviously, heel turns, face turns, title changes, tournaments, battle royals, new people coming in, changing the personas of others that already were somebody else. Don Morocco, obviously, S.D. Jones, Corporal Christian, whatever. You know the stories. And I really like that was something that, you know, if I was, I would go to bed thinking about the next day's matches and how fun it was going to be. I just loved it that much. Now, to be honest with you, as strange as this may sound, I wish I could do that today. I really do. I wish that, you know, right now my hobbies consist of watching movies, watching TV shows, talking to you guys. That's about it. That's about it. Bowling on Sundays with my kid. That's about it. I would love to be able to come down here every day, but nighttime. I can't sleep at night. I'm not a good sleeper anymore. I don't fall asleep. So to come down here at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, sit on the floor, have a card, keep stats, keep records, keep cards, keep everything. I wish I could. I don't have it doesn't stick. It doesn't stick. I could come down here and goof around, have a match or two, do the PACW thing that I did a while ago. It just didn't stick. It doesn't stick. And I think that's likely because I'm an adult. I would guess. But I'll tell you what, if I was solo, if I was living on my own, if I had my own little apartment or something, I think Sunday afternoons, weekday nights, I'd be sitting on the floor playing with my figures because I just loved it. I loved how fun it was. It's creative, it's imaginative, and it's fun. And I miss it. I miss playing. So LJN's solo play, LJN's all the way. You don't play LJNs with your friend. You don't play wrestling figures with your friend. The old commercials, you bring your guys, I'll bring mine. And they would stop it. That was never going to happen. We were not having a one-on-one match against a friend. What is that? You're just going to smash them together. That's terrible. You play LJNs by yourself. When Liam was little, he would come down here and he'd want to have a match against me with the figures. And I'm like, dude, this doesn't feel right. This is not what you do. And he got it eventually. Other silly things I did by myself. For one, I told you before, I wrestled. I wrestled by myself against a bear. I had a very large stuffed black and white panda bear that was filled with those styrofoam balls or whatever. You know, the carnival gimmicks that are junk. I would wrestle those, and I had a huge one, and I would go out. We had one of our houses that my mom rented. We had a enclosed porch in the front of the house, and they didn't have any furniture out there. It was usually just a couple of chairs, and it was my wrestling ring. I would play out there. I would wrestle the bear, and I would have matches against the bear, and they would go a while. You know, there was a whole thing. I would win, I would lose, the bear would beat me. I got to sell for the bear. It was great. It was fantastic. And talking about it now, I'm like, I would never do that. I'm not going to go get tired but back then it was something I actually looked forward to. It was like, oh, I'm coming home from school today. I'm going to wrestle the bear. And that's just the joys of childhood is having that much excitement to come home and exhaust yourself on the front porch, especially in the summertime, summer nights I would wrestle the bear where it was lighter, longer. So if anybody in the neighborhood, the porch had windows. If anybody in the neighborhood was just looking, they would see some idiot getting bounced around by a stuffed panda bear on the porch. But I enjoyed it on summer nights because it was warm enough. It was not hot. It was a summer night, and I would get sweaty. And then it felt more like wrestling because I was sweating. Right. When you're by yourself playing, let me see if I can say this, the amount of people that you can have to go against is endless, because you are you, but then you can also be your opponent. You can also be another opponent. You can be the fourth opponent. I mean, it can be, you play everybody. So I would bowl, of course, on my front porch in the childhood home. You've seen the house, you've seen photos. We even walked by it once. There was a long porch, narrow like a bowling alley, and it was long. It was kind of the length of half the house before the garages started. And I would set up my plastic bowling pins out there by myself and bowl, but I would bowl in tournaments against other people played by me, right? So I would get the sheet, I'd get a piece of paper, and I would write down like 7 pro bowlers of the 80s, right? I'll name drop a few, and you'll all just fall asleep. Marshall Holman and Mark Roth, right? So I would name 7 bowlers and Jason Knupp. Jason Knupp would be the 8th bowler in a tournament bracket. And I would bowl player 1 versus player 2. It's not me. It's just player 1 versus player 2. I would bowl those matches. Whoever won, I would move that guy on, and then when it came to me, I was like more invested because I was playing as me. You follow? That's how I played by myself. So I would be out on my porch for an hour, 2 hours, bowling as different characters, as they're bowling against different characters played by me, until I got to me, played by me. You follow? That was the best. That was so fun. I could be out there for days. And again, the neighbors must have been watching going, wow, what a sad kid. He legitimately has no friends. But that wasn't the case. I had plenty of friends in the neighborhood. I had plenty of friends at school. You're by yourself because your mom's not bringing you anywhere. It's all good. It's fine. We had a basketball hoop at the childhood home, and I would have free throw contests in the same way that I would do the bowling matches, right? I would have a tournament. It would be Jordan and Bird and Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas and blah, 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 and Jason Knupp. And we would all play the tournament. And Jordan, me, would go against Bird, me, and whoever won would go on to the next round. And then when it came to me, I was more invested. Fun. Many times I would lose, but it's cool because it's fine. But if I won, I was like legitimately excited that I beat 7 other me's. I did the same thing with a pool table that I had in my bedroom. I had, it was one of my best Christmas presents ever. I had a Coleco kid-size pool table in my bedroom. And they still make those today, but they're like part of like the 3-in-1 sports tables from ESPN or whatever. This was a Coleco pool table. Great gift. Fantastic gift. And I would play pool against myself. And I remember taking the AWA Remco belt and putting some paper on the plate and making a championship pool belt that the winner would get for winning the pool match against other players played by me. So at the very end of the pool tournament, I was always the one holding up the belt. It was either me or whoever else I played. And I would with pool, I didn't know any pool players. So I would pick kids from my elementary school and play against them in my head on a piece of paper. Now, again, everybody's like, maybe you should have had some friends. I had plenty of friends. But you didn't go to your friends' houses as often as you wanted to. And I had 2 sisters, so they weren't going to be a part of anything, and I didn't want them to be. And the neighborhood kids, you don't go get the neighborhood kids at 7:00 at night and bring them over. You had to take care of yourself. And again, it speaks to who we once were. Right? Do my children do this? Of course not, because they have so much electronic entertainment at their fingertips. We had 19 cable channels. I didn't have a Nintendo until later. The Atari, who cares? So it was my toys and it was my imagination. That is how I spent a lot of the years of my childhood. And just thinking about it now is bringing back fond memories. So what did you do? What was your special fun when you were by yourself? How did you play? By yourself, not with yourself. I don't want to know how you played with yourself. I would like to know how you played by yourself. That is all. We'll see you next time. Good night now.